Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to EA Tetragrammaton, where we are playing This is turn 31. Let's jump into things. Alright, so we've got a little bit of stuff going on, but really not a crazy amount. We have completed Enchantment 3. We are moving towards Construction 3 and really Construction 4. We've got a couple of casts of Voice of Apsu. The only one that finds anything is a Lantern Fens, which is actually a fire site, so a little odd, whatever. These other three do not find anything, unfortunately. Nezar II searched Sinkhole Swamp and found nothing. Okay, and it's at this point where we're kind of like, no. Okay, we're done with that, right? We searched, I think, 3 locations with our god and found nothing any of the times. Now, in fairness, on the second location when we searched, our god would have found something, would have found a nature site there, but the Ishib that we had searching that site found it before the god did that turn, right? So in fairness, we would have found things, but one site out of 3 different provinces with 3 above 3 magic paths. We've got a lot of 3s going on here. That's just horrible bang for our buck. And our god could be doing a lot more as far as like research or casting spells, and because of one specific development, our god is definitely going back to the capital because I'm gonna do something. We have unit die in NC2s, and then we have some battles. So let's go and watch this first one. So we've got a group of White Centaur versus nothing. This is just province defense. But blessing. We watch this. This is basically a cluster of about 20 or so White Centaurs, led by a bunch of Hierophants. Right, and the Hierophants are all priests, so they basically go a big bless, and everyone gets blessed in a single turn, and then they all start buffing themselves. And the bless for them is, it's a hell bless. Magic weapons, poison resistance, fire resistance, defense +1, reinvigoration +1, undying 4, blood surge 3, dark vision 50, swamp survival, mountain survival, waste survival, combat speed 30. So incredibly mobile troops, very good defenses, a little killy. Well, I mean, they're White Centaurs, so they're already very killy, right? Really good shit, right? Woo! Did you see that? Fucking A. Holy shit. Combat speed 37. Fuck me. Woo! That is impressive to watch. That's terrifying, but that is impressive to watch. Okay? So, we have a battle in the Mag. And this is our, our just as powerful group. Nope. Nope, not at all. Oh, if this army faced that army would obliterate this army. They'd already be on them, and they'd already have killed this entire front line. Oh my goodness. But what we're up against is much weaker. It's just a demon priest with some woodsmen. Easy peasy. So we're going to come forward, smash that line of woodsmen, cut through the blowpipes in the background. Not a problem. So no losses there. And then we have a bunch of unexpected events. We have a Prophet of Woe. The Prophets of Woe were right. Famine is struck. We lost some population, gained some unrest, gained death 1. We've got people have been found drowned in the swamp. Some say they are the victims of human sacrifice. More unrest and fever fens. And then we've got a celebrant of the faith is preaching justice and bringing hope to the people. So we've got decreased in unrest. And we got a high priest. A high priest is H2. So, nice. And this comes with a bunch of, I think, militia or light infantry. I think it's militia. And then we got some patrols. So, interesting turn. We're going to talk about... No. We'll talk through our moves first, and then we'll talk about the board state, because there's some stuff that's happened. So, very simple movements, right, is we are moving in for the attack on Yomi. Okay, so we made our first attack this turn. Lanka's non-aggression pack is over now. They are going to make their first attack this turn. We can see a massive army over here with Palankashas, Ganas, and long-dead Vanara warriors. Very big, probably going to be able to just punch right through, which I'm hoping they can go boom, boom, right the fuck onto Yomi, and we'll take these couple provinces. Maybe we'll take, like, Trackless Waste. Maybe we'll take, like, Feral Woods or something like that, and have this little, like, section carved out for us. And then Lanka can have the rest of it. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. That's the ideal hope. We'll see how it goes. So what are we doing? We are moving NC3 into 140. We're backing NC3 up. So let's take a look at NC3's forces, right? We've got a big mass of infantry. We've got some guard commanders. We've got some Mushushush. Great. Fantastic. We've got Divine Blessing, Bark Skin, Liquid Body, Moss Body, Mirror Images. Just defensive buffs to make sure NC3 stays alive. We are backing him up with the newly spawned force from Zanbarth, the High Priest, and a bunch of militia. This militia I'm putting in the very back on a hold and attack closest, just in case, like a, I don't know, like a Dione comes in with an attack rear, fly command, that type of scenario. He's going to cut through all of these, but they'll tie him up long enough for hopefully our forces to kill whatever forces he has and turn back on him, or maybe like our Smite Demon cast to go off, right? Because we have a whole bunch of those. Zanbarth is going to come into 140 as well, and then we're getting a bunch of reinforcements. I'm not going to dick around with this. We're bringing mages, right? So we've got Ishib 3, and I haven't renamed him yet. Sorry. Another Ishib are coming in. We've got a Gudu, 2 Gudus coming in. So what are we doing? We're doing a couple of quickness casts because these Ishibs are going to be in the center of our formation. So what this is going to do is it's going to hit potentially 2 per cast. It'll hit potentially 2 per cast of our infantry formation. So we're looking, with this many casts, we're looking at 8 total individuals. Now that's not really a lot, but it does increase the kill threat of those infantry. This is not great, but I don't really have anything great to cast yet. And this is something. It works, right? So, and alternatively, I could position these with the Mushushus, right? Actually, that's a much better position. I was doing this based off of this army, and this army it doesn't work for, but this army it absolutely works. Because there's only 4 Mushushus. So where are the Mushushus? Back rear. Let's just swap this real quick. Put you down there, you down there. And they might hit each other, so that would be like 1 cast wasted. But in theory, we hold an attack. Hopefully they'll prioritize the Mushushus and cast on them. And if they do, then we'll have 4 quickened Mushushus that are going to be nightmare fuel. That'll be neat. Aside from that, the Ishibs are casting Liquid Body to protect themselves, and then I have some Smite Demons cast. After that, we'll see what they do. Gudu 2 basically are, and this is our script for most of our air Gudus, going to do Mist Form for protection, and then spam Lightning Bolts. Gudu 1 is going to do Summon Earth Power and try to hit some people with Strength of Giants. And we're on a hold and attack on our formation, so we should be able to get 1 Strength of Giants off before we move, and then another Strength of Giants as we're moving out, right? So hopefully the front and then hopefully the back. Fingers crossed, it just kind of depends. And then we've got Iron Skin and Temper Flesh for protection, and then whatever spells they end up casting. Okay. So this is just a kind of standardized buffs city, right? Is pretty good at doing a bunch of these buffs, especially as we get more research under our belt and we can turn quickness into quickening, I think is what it's called. Right. Is that enchantment? What is that? Ah, there it is. Oh, that's super late. But yeah, quickening, right? So there's a lower version, isn't there? Sworn there was like a mid-tier version. Doesn't look like it. But like late game, right, you can get into quickening. And it is just water too, so all of our Ishibs can do this out of gate for 1 water gem, right? Quickening, 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 quickening. Suddenly your entire fucking army is quickened, and boom. You fuck off. So, you know, that's stuff that we can do later. Now that we have Summon Earth Power, right, all of our Earth 2 Gudus can do Summon Earth Power, Strength of Giants. We can, once we get to Construction 4, right, this is another thing, actually just Construction 3, we'll be able to do Summon Earth Power, Legions of Steel, right? So, is one of those nations that's pretty good at layering a bunch of different buffs. So that's what we're going for right now. So that's the force that's hitting 140. NC1 and this force and Masanapada is moving into Neotha, right? He's got a force of various infantry, right? He's got some bodyguards. He's got these clockwork horrors added to the mix now because of this horticulturist. He's got a bunch of Mushushus, but this army has been beaten up, right? I really wish had some sort of healers. Unfortunately, they do not. So they're coming in with much the same, but they're more on the offensive side of the bowl because of all of the air Gudus. So all the air Gudus are going to be doing Mistform, Lightning Bolt spam. The Ishibs are still doing Quickness, Liquid Body. I am going to leave these Ishibs in the infantry block because there's too many Mushushus for them to try to hit. So we're not going to worry about it. Maybe once we combine the two armies, we'll combine the Ishib forces, and we'll do like 4 Ishibs up top with like 8 Gudu or 8 Mushushus or something like that to make sure that they get quickened, and then we'll have the rest of the Mushushus on the bottom or something like that. So we'll play around with ideas. But the general concept, right, is to hit here in 140. Move our forces into 153, and then the following turn, hit into 150. So we'll combine our forces there and have a pretty impressive stack, hopefully, that's going to be able to deal with just about anything that Yomi throws our way. This does mean we are losing quite a bit of research this turn. Right? We're down to below 300 when we were actually approaching 400, or actually going over 400 this turn. So we are losing research, but I think this type of war in the mid game is very important to make sure that you're not being too greedy and not leaving things behind. Oh, we're also bringing Gudu 4 from all the way over in Underspring into 140 as well, and they're going to be doing Strength of Giants spam as well. So once, and I only have 2 Earth Gudus coming into this. So once the armies combine, one will probably be doing Strength of Giant spam, and the other one will probably be doing Legions of Steel spam. We'll see how that goes. All right, that's kind of the big movements up in the north front. In the south, we are moving NC2 into Wood of Many Paths. So he has a small force, should be able to deal with the Sea Dogs without too much issue. Our god is heading back to because I'm tired of him not finding shit. He's gonna either go research or start casting spells for us. Specifically, probably start casting spells for us because we're doing site searching, we're doing recruitment in all the different provinces, normal recruitment. We are finally getting a bone reader here in Sinkhole Swamp, right? I did not realize that I need a temple to get the shamans, so we'll have to get someone out there for a temple. Probably, yeah, fuck it. Send someone out there for a temple, potentially next turn, right? And then we'll be able to start recruiting shamans to do stuff for us. That'll be good. But aside from the various recruitments that we're doing, we are trying to get an enchantress to see if we can't fish out some fire magic. We'll see. Let's talk about board state. This is pretty big. We attacked this turn. We attacked Yomi. Lanka ended their non-aggression pact 3 turns ago, so this is the last turn. Lanka will be attacking next turn. Initially, the reason why this started, right, is Yomi tried to extort... Yomi was in a war with Femoria, asked me for a non-aggression pact, and apparently, when I did not respond, I didn't respond for like 2 turns, for like 4 or 5 days. When I did not respond, they took it as hostile intent, made peace with Femoria, assumed that I was going to attack them, made peace with Femoria, signed a non-aggression pact with Femoria, and then started to move an army towards me. And then I was like, oh, hey, do you still want that non-aggression pact? And then they were pissed, right? So, or at least that's how I have interpreted the situation, how I've seen the situation. And then they tried to extort me for the non-aggression pact, basically like saying, look, I had to do all this stuff, and you put me in a bad position, so you're going to pay me if you want this non-aggression pact. And I was like, okay, so I tried to negotiate. I thought what they were asking was too much. Tried to negotiate down from 500 to basically 280, which was a turn of income from Agartha, right? And or like favorable trade, right? I threw that out as an option. And they did not take that deal. And so I was like, okay, well, if I don't take this deal, what happens then? Are you declaring war? And they were like, oh, well, no, not declaring war. All right. Is that type of negotiation that I do not respond well to. Like, I understand positions of power. I understand issues. I realize that I think it was a knee-jerk reaction, but I realized that I caused an unfavorable situation for Yomi, and they felt like they needed to act. That's why I was willing to pay some sort of reparation at all, right? Also because I was trying to focus on Pan at the time. We'll get there. However, the fact that they reacted in the way that they did is something that I'm not gonna tolerate. I'm not gonna tolerate a player breathing down my neck or trying to extort me and then not backing it up. I think that's actually probably the worst part of it. It is like, if you're gonna try to extort me, right? If I say, or what, then the or what needs to be, or I will kill you, or I will invade your territory, or I will make your life as much of a living hell as I possibly can, right? Instead, the or what was, oh, well, nothing. Okay, so I'm not going to deal with that. I reached out to Lanka, who I'd been talking to already. We agreed that we would attack Yomi together and end that as a threat. Okay? Yomi's response, and now I try to play multiplayer Dominions by giving people the benefit of the doubt, because I've been there. I've been in the moments where real life happens, right? And I have to pull out of a game, or you know, it's just hard. I need an extension. It's hard for me to take my turns, right? And even sometimes not even real life happens, right? Sometimes it's just not fun to play the game. Sometimes you get into a situation and it's a game. It should be fun to play. So I can understand those scenarios where it's like, it gets hard to want to stay in a multiplayer game when you're not having fun with it, right? But it's kind of that scenario of like, you made a commitment to the other people in this game. You can at least respect them as part of the multiplayer community. So, while giving Yomi the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to say that I attacked Yomi this turn. Lanka is about to attack Yomi next turn. And Yomi's response was to get a sub for the game. Okay. Wow. Okay. Amusingly, though, the sub for the game is the Agarthan player who had such a bad time expanding that their immediate reaction was to throw in the towel and just say to all of their neighbors, go ahead and just kill me. What is with these people not, like... Take my Ares game, for example. I had a rough time of it around turn 30 in my Ares game. I lost a really bad battle. I got driven out of my lands, my capital. I got driven out of... I turned into a nomadic tribe. I invaded another person's capital, and I holed up there for the rest of the game. Now, is that necessarily entertaining to other people? No, not necessarily. But is it me trying to do everything that I can to stay in the game, to try to make things trouble for other people, to try to have an influence on the game, etc.? Yeah, absolutely. And there are different ways to go around about that. Sometimes you're like, look, I don't want to do that. I don't want to play for 40 turns and not be strong. Okay, then Death Ball. Then put all of your forces together. In Yomi's situation, right? Be like, oh, okay, they're going to double team me. There's no way I win this. Screw Fuck caused this situation. Death Ball up. Drive to my capital. And shove it down my throat. Right? Screw me over as bad as you can. Now, I prefer not to play that route. I prefer to try to figure out, can I survive in the situation? Like, I would rather eke out a survival for the entire rest of the game, even if it's just a small one. But either way, right, it's even if you're just trying to survive or you're trying to make it as punitive as possible for your enemies, those are still playing the game, right? If every time you get into a multiplayer game, if your reaction when things don't go your way is to either go AI or to sub, maybe you should be playing multiplayer games. However, I do not know Yomi's situation, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say, whatever their situation is, I hope that it works out for the best. Okay? And I have no real hard feelings. To the Agarthan player, watch out, Lanka and I are coming. Which this is going to be posted way afterwards, but still, it's that matter. It's like, I feel bad for them stepping into the scenario, but maybe they'll have fun with it and, you know, send us on a merry goose chase and we'll see how it goes. I will say, in trying to deal with Agartha initially, they fucked me over multiple times, so I anticipate that happening again. We'll see how it goes. That's board state 1. We have even more news. And it's in the same vein. So I'm not gonna go through the entire whole shebang about my opinions on things, etc., etc. I'm just gonna say what's going on. Kailasa has gone AI. Kailasa lost, I'm assuming lost some big battles against Pan. We've seen Pan and their forces. Their white centaurs are fucking terrifying. There's 20 on my border, and I'm real scared about it. And it's Pan, right? They've got swarm assassins. They're a big pain in the ass. It's a scary nation. And they're big. This is why we wanted to put a coalition together to try to deal with them. They're obviously a threat. One, two, three. I'm not going to count this one because it's in enemy territory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Maybe that one doesn't count because it's in enemy territory as well, right? We got 11 provinces that we can see that Kailasa controls. And another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 provinces that are probably in Kailasa's control or sphere of influence. Kailasa's fucking big. like, okay. Kailasa's large enough to the point to where last turn, I was sitting here going, you know what? I'm not sure we backed the right horse. I'm not sure, you know, that there's not a scenario where we all dogpile Pan and then we don't go, oh, well, shit, now Kailasa's out of control. You know, right? Like, that absolutely is, and still potentially a thing in my mindset. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what necessarily happened. I am going to assume that Kailasa lost some big stacks. And that might actually mean that they're done, right? Sometimes that's what that means. But when you have so much land, to throw in the towel at this point, right? Is your loss likely? Well, it sounds like it, right? It does sound like you're probably going to lose. It sounds like things did not go well for you, and in the long run, you will probably not come out the victor. But you could fight, right? It's gonna take Pan time to conquer your lands. You have 2 allies in the war. Well, in my case, it's in the war. But in the war. What? Ignore that part. Ignore that hypocrisy, right? But you have in theory 2 allies in the war with you, right? Like, to throw in the towel so quick, and to do so in such a way where you go AI. I will say this, right? There's at least a scenario where you're like, look, the game's not going to be fun for me anymore. I don't want to play it. And there's a scenario of, I have real life stuff. I can't play the game right now. Those are understandable situations. Acceptable situations. Perfectly fine, right? But when you have probably 20 plus provinces and you go AI, look for a sub, man. Like you go AI when you're that big? Do you not have resources? Do you not have, like, gems? Do you not have anything to work with? Right? Like, for me, playing a multiplayer game in a community like the Dominions community comes with a commitment. If you're going to play multiplayer, then play multiplayer. When you sign up for a game, you make a commitment to see that game through, to play the game to the best of your abilities. And that's saying something for me, because I suck, right? And I expect to lose most of the games that I go into. But I'm still going to try. Even if I get rushed in the beginning, I'm still going to try to do everything that I can. Right? Having a real life thing, having a medical emergency, having those types of things, that shit happens. And that's why we have subs in the community. But if you're knee-jerk, again, benefits of the doubt. Or benefit of the doubt. My fucking words. If your knee-jerk reaction is to, I'm gonna lose, I'm getting a sub, or I'm gonna lose, I'm going AI, maybe you shouldn't be playing multiplayer. Or maybe you should be playing multiplayer in a scenario where like, maybe just play blitzes, right? Like, play blitzes with people. That shit happens all the time in blitzes, where you're like, oh, it's a blitz. Okay, well, I played for like 3 hours. This guy kicked my ass. I've got like, 15 provinces left, but I really can't do anything. I'm done, y'all. Devour me real quick. Okay, great. Because you know what happened? You just took up, 2 hours of people's time. Not a big deal, right? This game itself, we've been playing for a month and a half now. And we'll be playing it for probably another 2 or 3 months. Well, if I make it that far, of course, right? That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Anyways, we're going to be attacking Yomi. Hopefully that victory is gonna be easy for us. Good luck to the Agarthan player. We'll see how that goes for them stepping into Yomi's shoes. Our plans have kind of changed now. I never declared war against Pan. I never made a hostile move against Pan, except for forming alliances against them and orchestrating coalitions against them. So I guess technically that's a hostile move, but I haven't done anything to their territory. But realistically, I'm probably going to move into the Wood of Many Paths, and then I'm probably going to start heading towards Kailasan lands. Because if Kailas is going to go AI, I'm probably going to try to snag some of this land on their side. At the very least, 45, 44, and 28. Try to take them, try to hold down this fort, and go from there. See how it goes. And I have told Hinam as well, right, who apparently Kailasa kicked the shit out of initially. Right? I've told Hinam, hey, you should probably... I know... I think Hinam has already attacked Pan, which might not go well for them, but they should definitely start taking Kailasan border provinces as quickly as possible. Because the more territory we can snag from Pan, the smaller they are, I guess, in fairness. But at this point, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I don't know. I've talked about it at length. Kailasa bailing out this early is... And I'm not talking from like a moral standpoint, right? I'm the asshole who orchestrated a coalition and has not actually attacked the person the coalition is against yet. I have no moral standing, period, right now. Okay? So I'm not even talking from a moral standpoint. I'm just talking from a multiplayer community standpoint. Cloak and dagger politics, or Machiavellian politics, diplomacy, things like that, that's all part and parcel to the game. But that's still playing the game. I'm still taking my turns, right? To bail out is just, fuck me, man. Alright. Anyways, this has gone on long enough. Our targets have changed slightly. We're still going to be going for Yomi, just a new Yomi. And instead of going for Pan, we're probably going to be going for Kailasa. We'll see how it goes. Another reason why my god is going back to the capital is because, I guess I could do it here, but I don't know. I'm going back to the capital because I want to sit in the capital and do research and make things. But we're probably going to try to take Mother Oak. Kailasa has Mother Oak. We have a shit ton of nature gems. We're probably going to dump all of those nature gems into Mother Oak and see how it goes. Fingers crossed. Because typically and AI is not going to fight us as much as a player would. Now, granted, that might make Pan go, oh, well, I guess I'm fucking coming for you next, buddy. But if that's the case, I feel like it's at that point of the game where it's like, okay, well, yeah, we kind of deserve that. Let's fight Pan. And Pan will probably run over us. But at least I won't fucking AI. Bye, everybody.